So I wanted to tell you a little bit about our BA community. So we'll just park that, those kind of lessons for now, but I think they give us a really good flavour of what communities should be about, and I'll come back onto it in a second. So, mentioned before, UK retail banking is the section that I work in, and that serves 21 million of the 48 million customers that Jill mentioned before, and we're very proud to do so. We cover the change for all those channels that you that mentioned before, so the branch systems, the digital channels, the telephony channels, the operations. I'm probably leaving people out, apologies. So we actually have 14 change teams, 14 practices in effect. And each of these practices has different amounts of BAs in it. Some have as many as 35, some have as few as 3. And there's 116 business analysts that work across those 14 streams. So what we've done in terms of community is we've taken one particularly enthusiastic person, somebody who wants to kind of give something back to the community, and nominate them as a kind of champion to work with our BA forum in effect, and act as a coordinator and a representative for their function. But we've done a bit more than that as well. So mentioned before the overlaps between business process modelling. So actually we've started to pull in some people who you'd perhaps class as process engineers, strictly speaking, in their roles. So people who do intelligence reporting, those types of things, they take needs and requirements from business and produce MI reports. So actually they have a very similar skill set to traditional BA. It's just that we don't necessarily kind of call them that. So there's things that we can learn from them and things that they can learn from us, so we brought them into our community, which we're very happy to do. So our BA community is currently about 160 people, and I'll talk to you about some of the things that we've been doing as well. Once I've found where I'm up to in my notes. Okay. So one of the first things we did was we built an intranet site. I'll share with you. Really simple, but really important. So we pulled something together that shares framework for BA. So it's a one-stop shop for any business analyst working within UK retail bank. They can find all the information they need from here in terms of how to go about approaching a project, useful kind of links to other sites, any news that's happening, any changes that are happening to framework as well. Also contact details. So one of the great things about creating these champions across the 14 areas is that everybody in every team knows somebody who knows somebody in another team. So it's a fantastic way of actually connecting people. So if you're working in an online project and you need to know something about the branch, you know a champion in your area who knows a champion in that area, and you can find the right contact. So it really starts to kind of close the gap, really. So the other things that are on that website, and very importantly, is we've got a document download centre. So that is templates, obviously, but also we upload great examples of those templates being completed. You know, templates no good without you know, understanding what the context is of that. But also on there, we put all the presentations, anything that we've done through our skills sharing sessions. We load those back up on there as well. So if anyone wants to get any tips on requirements or Visio or PowerPoint or whatever it might be, there's a slide deck on there that will help them out. Also things like role profiles really helps in terms of career progression, to be able to know what the role profile is you're aiming for next. The other thing that we've got on there is a discussion board. So any BA in that community can post a question, and hopefully the best person to answer that across the community will take the time to answer it. So that's a really good part. One of the big things about this is it's not just an intranet, it's the spirit of collaboration that sits around it. So the only difference between a contributor and the admin is the admin can change the pages around. Everybody else can load anything, they can take anything off, they can do what they want. So it's a complete community example, and it's all facilitated by them. So that was a really important first step for the community. Some of the other things we've been doing. Expansion. I already mentioned that we're really keen to get like-minded disciplines involved with the BA community where we can do to learn from them, and hopefully for them to benefit some of the work that we do. So in particular, we've got the 4 process expert process engineering teams that are kind of aligned with us now. That's really valuable to us. Particularly things like Sigma and the lean practices that they're experts in, really. We can kind of pick a lot of learning up from them. But also about connecting communities. So I guess things like tonight, being able to host for the IIBA is a great privilege for us, and really helps to allow our business analysts to get into contact with some of the things that are going on out there in the industry. But also internally as well. So I mentioned we're UK retail banking, but actually we've got business analysts in corporate banking, in wealth, in Barclays. So we've actually started to link our communities back into them as well. So whilst they might be doing different work, there's a lot of things that we can benefit from. So there's some good shared experiences there. I think one of the things we'll be doing going forward is creating a cross-community regular conversation as well, because we've really just started to formalise some of those arrangements. Formal training path. So two parts of this. One is working with some of the training suppliers to put down what we think is the best accredited and professional learning path for the BAs in UK retail banking. What qualifications should people be aiming for? Really useful for a number of reasons, but one is that it starts to help people to recognise that it is actually a profession, that there is actually an industry around this. So helps to kind of raise that type of awareness and that pride. The other thing we've been doing, actually, and this is a really great example, and thanks to somebody who's at the side of the room here, is we created a business analyst foundation that's specific to Barclays. So the great thing about some of the training that's out there is it's kind of framework agnostic, and you can take the skills and you can apply them any way you like. And the thing that's always missing when you take new analysts on board is that we don't necessarily provide the company context that sits around that. So actually we've developed a 2-day foundation from the champions community that the champions are now playing out, and it's been receiving great feedback. It's a great opportunity for the passion about analysis to be put across as well, to tell people why it's the best role in the whole world. So that's been something that's really important to us. Also, less formally, we've got a speaker series running, so anybody who's particularly good at something can just spend an hour and register a session that they want to present, be that, like say, on Visio, on some of the other things we've done, things like user interface design, those types of things that people want to learn about, things on Agile. We can do little sessions to kind of upskill people little by little. So, and again, all those slides we make available to the community afterwards as well, so they're a permanent mark in effect. Recognition. So we did something a little bit radical. We created a Business Analyst Excellence Awards. So now we already have recognition in place, as many companies do, but in particular, specifically for business analysts, we've now got a quarterly award that is about people contributing to the community. So if you've spent time to do speaker series, if you've pulled training material together, if you're helping mentor people and bring them on, you're helping to build that collective capability. So that's exactly what that's about. It's been sponsored by level execs as well, so he's really behind the scheme and kind of hand signing all the recognition letters that are going out across that community. Again, just something that really kind of helps people realise how professional the environment is and how valuable it is to share their expertise. A little unexpected one as well, that as we built the community, it started to become quite useful in terms of talent and opportunities. So job vacancies, for example, we've got the opportunity to share those across that community. So if people want to kind of move upwards into promotional roles or move sideways from those various change strands, we can kind of promote that. And as well as that, we start to get some interest with our contacts externally as well, as people who are looking for roles and get some CVs through as well. So the community's actually ended up being quite a good source of talent management. And finally, the unexpected. So I guess building a community has helped us to have a single point of engagement on various things that have happened organisationally. So 2 examples of which we're putting in some new tools at the minute, some quite exciting requirements, collaboration tools and requirements management tools, and actually we've been able to channel the BA input through the forum. it's been fantastic to be able to do that, to kind of share with people how things are going in that space before we get the tools and get lots of input from them. So it's not necessarily something we set out to do, but it's been really useful to have a collective group of people. And also in terms of capability management, so we had HR looking at doing a change community job matrix. So how do you start to be a business analyst, or how do you move from one business analyst role to another, or how do you move from a project manager to a business analyst, or however else you want to do it. So again, through the community, we've been able to target that and tailor it and make it all about the expertise that we have as a community. So a lot broader than it would have been otherwise. I think the other thing around the unexpected is what the community provides. So probably equally as important as the things that we're doing, it starts to give people a sense of connection, that actually all these 160 people are now connected somehow, and they have a network, and they can bump into each other in the corridor, and they know each other, and they can talk about what they're working about. Also gives them a sense of professionalism. I mentioned that a few times with the training, but actually it's amazing how quickly people can forget that there is an industry out there, that this is a professional role, and that it is something that's evolving. It also starts to give the correct recognition for the value that BAs add. It's about kind of celebration of the business analyst role. So the fact that we represent is very motivational, really. That there's a home for business analysis. It's not just the 3 of you working in your community or the 35 of you working within your practice. It's actually a bigger thing. So very much urge you to start communities internally if you don't already have them, and if you do have them, to kind of build upon them as best you can do. So I wanted to share a few tips for starting communities, and this will hopefully nicely segue back to the incredible edible Todd Morden story. The first one, just start something. So just gather some people together, make it happen. You don't have to have a grand plan. You don't have to have, on day one a mission statement, a vision or objectives, but just get some people together and across various practices and start talking, and the rest will come. It's really about facilitating, listening, and synthesizing. I had a great conversation before about actually just early today, and there's a little quote on there, and I hope you don't mind if I share it. But it was the example from NPower of so who does the practice lead work for? And one of the senior analysts there said, actually, practice lead works for me, and that's probably quite a contentious statement in many people's minds. Hierarchically, that's not true, but actually, the same with the community lead. The community lead works for the community. It's not about you. It's about synthesizing the opinions and the positions of others. So all about listening. The less of you can put across in the community, the better. Raise awareness. So in 2 ways. First off, keep communicating within the community. Let people know what's happening. Let people kind of get updates on a regular basis. If you do something once and start telling people about it, it'll be forgotten in the wash of all the things that happen. So little and often communication. Also, in the wider business as well, let people know that there's a community. And it's amazing how many people start to approach you and say, well, actually, we've got some BAs over here, and they'd like to get involved, and we're doing something on this, and I heard you were. And so really act as a kind of PR machine for the community. Set momentum, and what I mean by that isn't about pace setting. One of the challenges with community is that people got day jobs, and it becomes quite difficult to put deadlines and to have traditional management roles within that. So actually it needs to be about the pace that people can set themselves, but help in terms of unblocking things. So if someone's struggling to make something happen, then how do we make it happen, and put the required volunteers onto initiative to kind of get it out the door. Coordinate, big thing. It sounds kind of contrary, really, but the big role of the community lead is exactly that: to coordinate, to make sure people get together or have the opportunity to get together, make sure people talk, and have the opportunity to network as well. So act as a coordinator, empower others. There's no way you can be involved in everything that goes on, and if you've got a day job to do as well, no doubt. So really kind of trust people to do the thing that they think is right. And I wanted to kind of share with you a quote that I dug out when I was looking about Incredibly Edible Todmorden. So this is Pam's quote on how she thinks her role as community lead acts with others, and I thought this kind of really summed it up quite nicely. If you can't read it, I'll read it out. It's Incredibly Edible Todmorden lets everyone just do what they want to do and not worry about the big picture. We just make sure it's knitted together and it makes sense. So that's exactly the kind of spirit of community. If somebody wants to do something, who are you to stop them? Let it kind of happen. Guide them as best you can, by all means. But actually, the role of the community lead is about making sure that things fit together rather than about controlling tasks.